Just a few quick notes before we begin. This is divided into a few parts for time management sakes. This is specifically for the first game, not the whole series. And a lot of the entries on this iceberg are inspired by the channel's Stippo, especially in the next part. I highly suggest checking that channel out. As entries that come from there, I'll be giving shorter explanations and then plugging them. As for other ones that aren't part of it, I'll give more in-depth ones to say. So yeah, I'll probably be linking his channel in the description. Anyway, let's get started right now with the tip. I've covered Wars You Know. It's a line that's said by Frank. It's probably the most well-known line in the series, and probably also the most mimetic thing to come from said series. Hidden SMG. If you go up to the staircase in Paradise Plaza near the safe house exit, jump on that blue balcony, run alongside it, and hey, you get a free SMG right there. Pretty useful, and a lot of people know about it. Hidden Katana. Similarly, if you jump off Colombian Roastmasters in the same plaza onto that balcony, you'll get another great dangerous weapon just lying around in the mall for free. Shut up, Otis is something that a lot of players, most of them, probably had run through their heads or say out loud verbally while playing the game. Him constantly calling and interpreting you was probably the most common complaint to come from the original game. And it's a pretty well shared thought, even if people don't really openly say it to each other. Driving through the tunnels. This is a very common practice by a lot of players, especially back then. It was used to grind for experience, the kill counts, and just a lot for fun. Stocking up on OJ. Another common practice, and this is because that OJ restores a lot of health, especially in the beginning of the game with 4 squares. And it's at a really convenient location at Colombian Roastmasters, the best place. Bathroom shortcut. So this is a cool secret in the game that only some people would probably miss, and you acquire it if you rescue Greg from Adam, follow him over to the bathroom, and then once you get there, he'll show you a shortcut near the mirrors that leads between Paradise Plaza and Wonderland Plaza. Mini chainsaw is the best weapon. So I think I mistakenly wrote it as mini, even though the official name is probably small, but that's not really the point, I guess. It's just different. But anyway, it's a fast and powerful weapon that you get from Adam again. And if you stack this with the durability books, then you'll have to be slicing through everything in the game for a long time. And with just how strong it is, people see this as possibly the best method in the game. Thinking Dead Rising 2 is the only good sequel. This is pretty self-explanatory. If you just ask most people, then they'll most likely be saying that the only sequel to the first game that's worth anything is the second game in the series. Jill's Sandwiches. This is a restaurant that's named after the very popular line from Resident Evil 1 that comes from its poor, awkward, and funny translation and acting. It was pretty cool to see Capcom just reference this directly. And with that, we're going to be moving on to the surface, the next layer. Convicts glitch. Have you ever wondered why the convicts outside constantly respawn every day even after you kill them? Well, this is actually due to a glitch that was just never fixed. Zombie Brad. There's a cutscene after you defeat Carlos in the tunnels where Brad is surrounded by zombies and just seems doomed. Well, the little hallway this takes place in is actually a kind of secret area in the game. And if you reach this, you can see a hidden cutscene that plays of him in the secret room talking to Frank and then eventually turning. And it's pretty sad. Well, is the Convicts song. And if you played the game, then it's most likely familiar to you, and most players can fill in the rest in their head after hearing that. I did not sing that right. Hidden intro. Something that a lot of people surprisingly missed for the longest time, including me. If you wait on the title screen for a bit of time, then this will start playing, and it stars a mom and a daughter who are named Connie and Dakota, and they're trying to escape from this apocalypse that's happening, and they end up getting stuck. And their fate is presumably doomed. It's actually really much more upsetting and disturbing than the rest of the game, and I almost kind of don't like it because of just how much it unnerves me. I never liked it when Dead Rising strays too far away from the more lighthearted atmosphere. And What's also interesting about it is that it has some beta touches. Like, a lot of that stuff is referenced in there, especially once you, like, look more into it. And, like, it's also the tone, just like that, and the dark mood. It's pretty good to set up what's coming up for the rest of the Iceberg, especially that girl in particular. Wii version, also known as Chop Till You Drop. This is a weird port with really drastic changes just so it worked to the point where it's basically an entirely different game. And it's more of a guided shooter, and there's other differences like animal zombies and characters playing totally different roles, like not being psychopaths anymore. It's pretty weird and unfitting to see. And if you ask me personally, it's not really worth playing, but that's up to you to decide. Beta Frank. Here we start with the beta stuff for real, and I'm just starting with what seems to be the most recognizable and known thing from it, which is Frank's model, and he looked much more hulking and kind of monstrous, and it's also pretty funny. 2005's betas footage. Yes, betas as in plural. And all it is exactly what it says. It's just footage of the different betas in that year, but it coincides with everything that you can see in there, such as different models, hints to a different story. The HUD, obviously, the tone, it's much darker, like both in all of those, and also literally there's like less lighting. But apparently there's some footage that's missing too, and Stippo has done a lot on this, so I suggest checking out that channel. Frank made to be the opposite of Leon. When developing this, they wanted Frank to be more just like some guy that's stuck in the situation rather than somebody who's completely armed and built and trained for this. You know, like Leon Kennedy, that other Capcom zombie series guy who was around and really relevant at the time Dead Rising came out. But anyway, that does it for the tops of the iceberg layers and some of the lighter stuff. Just wanted to get that off the way real quick, so there's more to do when the darker stuff comes in the next video, so stay tuned until then. Thank you.